Alright guys, it's Sony's turn. You'll notice that I skipped Electronic Arts and I skipped Ubisoft, and I did that on purpose because I always like to focus on the main three console manufacturers. So that's pretty much what I've done. So just like the Microsoft one, let's start by just quickly bam 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 announcing listing what was announced, and then I'll talk a little bit about what I want to talk about. And there we go. Okay, so first off, their conference overall was really good in the beginning, and then boring, and then really good at the end. So Microsoft, clear winner between the two of them, simply because it was just a more entertaining conference, what Microsoft did with the boom games, boom games, boom games. There were important announcements that Sony made, but let's go through it. Okay, so they start off with Destiny. You know, oh, this is going to be exclusive, that's going to be exclusive in terms of content and things like that. But I mean, Microsoft's going to have the same thing on their side. PC's probably going to have their same exclusives on their side. But what was cool was they announced that there's going to be a white PlayStation 4 that will be released around the same time. So that's cool. And my nose is leaking. Sorry about that. Caught a little bit of a cold, which sucks. Next thing was the Order 1886. I'm going to actually stop and just talk a little bit about this. What they showed, I'm happy they showed gameplay. Visually looks very nice. I like the style. The graphics look good. Audio looks good. I think I would have done a different sort of segment, because what they showed was basically a QuickTime event, cinematic, bam bam, shooting at a like a, I don't know what, it was almost like a werewolf type of thing. And yeah, then that's about it. Like, I would have liked to have seen, yeah, here, go, you know, bam, 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 shooting, running, and whatever. It's just, I understand they made it almost like an interactive trailer. So, but it does look good. It sucks that it got delayed into next year, but c'est la vie. An indie release called Entwined. It was available last night for $10. That was a nice little surprise. It looks cute, looks unique, very artistic. There we go. Infamous Second Son First Light DLC coming August 2014. Looks good. If you like Infamous, they showed literally like 5 seconds of it, so it is what it is. Big announcement that we all knew that was coming, but it was nice to sort of see, was Little Big Planet 3 coming this November. Now, during the Microsoft recap that I did, I said I said that, you know, well, I'm really moving away from user-generated content, and the same is true here. While I'm a fan of the series, I look forward to the single player game. I like the fact that they've introduced new characters that have different abilities. I think that's cool. But overall, I'm not going to create my own content. Sorry, that's just never going to happen, because 90% of the stuff that I played with user generated content sucks. All right, next game was the one from Software, which is Bloodborne. Dun dun dun. Just showed a little teaser, and from what they showed, the style and everything looks really, really cool. So I'm looking forward to that. And then they talked a little bit about Far Cry 4. The game itself looks pretty cool, but they did make an amazing announcement, which is actually pretty damn awesome. On the PlayStation 4 version, you will actually be able to sort of share the game with your friends for the multiplayer component. That's pretty damn cool, if I do say so myself. So in other words, you watching this, if you want to play the game with me and I own it but you don't, we're going to somehow be able to give you the game so that you can join in for absolutely no cost. You can join in my game and play with me while I play Far Cry 4. That's pretty awesome, man. Alright, then they showed Dead Island 2. Nice little trailer with that. Looks funny, but it was just CG trailer. They mentioned Diablo 3 is going to have limited The Last of Us special level or something, whatever. Battlefield Hardline was next. Disney Infinity 2 Collector's Edition with some unique Marvel characters. Like, I think it was Hulk, they said, was going to be unique. They talked about, what is it called? Magicka 2, which I'm like, okay, I don't know much about that. But the big one was Grim Fandango HD, which is going to be exclusive to the PlayStation 4 and the Vita. So that's cool. If you're a fan of that classic adventure game, that's awesome. Then they listed a whole buttload of games, a bunch of indie releases that are going to make their console debut on the PlayStation 4. I'm not going to list them because there's just a whole buttload. Some looks better than others, usual. They also announced that there's going to be a Suda51 game that's going to be a PlayStation 4 exclusive called Let It Die. They showed a trailer for that. It looks hyper gory as hell, but that's just the way it was shown. I have no idea what the actual game is going to be like. Next up was Giant Squid Studios, which is from the maker, or like when they branched out or whatever it was from that game company, the makers of Journey, comes a new game called Abzu. And it looks like an underwater game that it's beautiful. It looks very artistic, and I'm sure it's going to be an absolute blast to play. Next up was pretty much the highlight, which was something called No Man's Sky. This looks amazing. This is an indie release. They got the developer up on stage, and he looks so nervous. It's going to be a PlayStation 4. Well, first, it's going to make its debut on the PS4, and my God, it looks sick. You can basically go to a world, okay, explore a world, then get in like a spaceship or whatever, fly off, have dogfighting, interstellar dogfighting, land on another world, and as you discover stuff, the player is credited in sort of like an online log or whatever. It looked really, really cool. I didn't expect that whatsoever. I was watching, I was like, Jesus, that looks awesome. So I'm definitely going to be keeping my eye on that. And, props to Sony for doing that, for calling out the guy, the developers, and telling them, come on stage, and we want to sort of like highlight you guys in the same light as these other big AAA releases. So I really like that. I like the approach Sony is doing. Okay, the next stuff was kind of the boring stuff. This is where I was falling asleep. They mentioned Project Morpheus. They said that there's a lot of, there's going to be some tech demos at E3, and that there's a lot of different game companies that are working on software for that. So obviously no release date was announced or anything like that, but it's definitely in the works. And I know there's a lot of people who are very excited about that. For those that don't know, it's basically like Oculus Rift. So it's like a VR headset that you wear. So it's going to be kind of interesting to see how that evolves over time. And they were very clear that this was sort of like the future of the PlayStation 4. So saying that this isn't something that's going to be coming out this year, next year, maybe not even the year after. They finally mentioned some big news, which is YouTube, where you're watching this, will be connected to the PlayStation 4 via the share button later this year. So that's pretty cool. I know a lot of you guys have been asking for that so that people could upload their videos directly to YouTube instead of Facebook or whatever. So that's cool. What else did we get? We got Twitch and Ustream. There's going to be like this weird back and forth now. So like if you're... let's say like I'm playing a game and you're watching it on Twitch, you'll actually be able to talk to me if I allow it, if I go into the settings and say like, yes, that's cool. So you can sort of have like that interaction back and forth between people instead of just reading comments. So that's cool, I guess. They announced that 25 free-to-play games will be coming in the next 12 months. So, yay for that. PlayStation Now, US and Canada, July 31st is the open beta. They're saying that PlayStation Now will be available on certain Sony televisions. You see, this is the stuff where it's like really gets boring. It's going to be PlayStation 3 games at first. Over 100 games are going to be available at launch. PlayStation TV is coming out in the rest of the world. It's going to be $99. There was no release date announced, at least not one that I saw. There's also going to be a $139 version, which will come with a DualShock 3, 8GB memory card, HDMI cable, and the Lego Movie video game voucher to download. For me, I'm mainly interested in this, primarily because I can extract footage from it, so I could actually get direct feed footage from Vita games, or at least Vita games that support the PlayStation TV. This conference, basically, I'm almost done, but it pretty much was a nail in the coffin for the Vita. There was no big exclusives announced. There was nothing, I think they've pretty much given up on the Vita now. They're just going to sort of like tie it into their other services and leave it at that. You can disagree all you want, but it sure seems that way to me anyway. Then they showed the world debut of in-game footage for Mortal Kombat 10, or X. And it looks pretty good. It's running on the Injustice engine. It looks really, really nice. Then Brian Michael Bendis came on to talk about Powers, a television show. I love Brian Michael Bendis. I think the guy is awesome, but that was not the venue to do that. That's something for Comic-Con, where you announce that Powers being made into a television show that's going to be exclusive for the PlayStation brand. Just didn't fit. We saw a trailer for the Ratchet and Clank movie, and they announced that Insomniac's working with Sony in order to completely rebuild Ratchet and Clank from the ground up, the original game. It'll have all new areas, all new whatever, and be designed from the ground up for the PlayStation 4. So that's cool. Last of Us Remastered hits on July 29th. I'm still really iffy with that one because I'm like, was it really necessary? Like, I love The Last of Us, but, like, Jesus, I'm almost like, just make it backwards compatible and you could play it on your PlayStation 4. It's not going to look that much better. Metal Gear Solid 5, The Phantom Pain, they showed the trailer that leaked early. Here was a big one, though. Grand Theft Auto 5 is coming to the PlayStation 4 later this year. So, again, you know, remaster and whatever. But just like The Last of Us, I don't know, is it really necessary? I don't know. To me, it's like, is it really going to look that much different? And then they showed Batman Arkham Knight. And the last thing that I'm going to talk about, and the last thing they showed, was a, maybe 20-second teaser for Uncharted 4, A Thief's End. Now, this I'm excited about because it's being marketed as the final chapter in the Uncharted series. And given Naughty Dog's history, that would not surprise me in the least if this is it. Like, this will be their final hurrah with Nathan Drake in the Uncharted series. It looks significantly darker than the other ones, and it looks like it takes place many years later. He looks like he even has some white hair in his hair. And it's interesting. He's still wearing his wedding ring, so that says something. He's still married. But they made it sound like he's been pulled back in because he has to protect the ones he loves. So a lot of speculation about where the series is going to go from here. But I would love it if this truly is the last one. Let's hope they end it with a bang. All right, guys, that's it for the Sony press conference. What did you guys think? What were some of the highlights that you liked? What didn't you like, etc.? By all means, leave a comment below. Next up will be Nintendo later this afternoon. All right, guys, thanks for watching.